Ethereum versus Solana, 2026. The question is, who will be the final winner? You know, by the time we get to 2026, this whole battle between Ethereum and Solana, it's not really going to be about who's faster. It's going to be about who is built to last. It's a competition for survival. So in this explainer, we're going to cut through all the noise, all the hype, and give you a really clear analytical look at where these two giants are actually heading. We'll break down the tech, the ecosystems, and of course, the money. So if that's what you're here for, you're definitely in the right place. Okay, to really get a grip on their futures, you have to start with their fundamental designs. And it all boils down to this core architectural choice. Are you monolithic or are you modular? So Solana, it takes the monolithic approach. The best way to think about it is like a high-performance sports car, right? The engine, the chassis, the transmission, it's all engineered together in one tightly integrated system, all for maximum speed. Everything happens on that one single layer. Ethereum, on the other hand, has gone all in on a modular strategy. Its main layer is designed for one thing above all else: maximum security and decentralization. It acts almost like a final court of settlement. All the heavy lifting, all the transaction speed, that gets outsourced to a whole growing ecosystem of specialized layer 2 networks. Now, what's so fascinating about this is how it just lays their trade-offs bare. I mean, look at Ethereum's validator network, over 1 million strong. That provides a level of security that is just unparalleled. But then you look at Solana's much leaner set of about 1,500 validators, and you see how its unique proof of history consensus lets it deliver thousands of transactions per second, right there on its base layer. So with these very different architectures, where are they actually winning in the real world? Well, that brings us to the ecosystem battleground, which you can really sum up as a fight between value and volume. When you talk about value, the sheer amount of money locked into the system, Ethereum is in a whole other league. It's holding over 8 times more value in its ecosystem than Solana. This is what makes it the trusted home for the industry's blue chip protocols and what attracts all that serious institutional capital. But flip the script over to user activity, and Solana is the clear dominant force. Because its transaction fees are often less than a single cent, it attracts over 2 million daily active users during peak times. That's 4 times more than Ethereum. It's become the go-to chain for anything high volume, like gaming, social media, and microtransactions. But you know, the battle isn't just about DeFi and daily users anymore. The next major frontier, the one everyone is watching, is about bringing the real world onto the blockchain. We're talking about tokenized real-world assets, or RWAs, a market that has already ballooned to nearly $18 billion. It's an absolutely critical frontier for both of these chains. And this just perfectly illustrates their different sales pitches. Ethereum offers that rock-solid security and institutional trust you need for tokenizing, say, a single high-value asset, like a skyscraper. Solana, with its low costs and incredible speed, is perfectly suited for things like fractional ownership of that skyscraper, or for high-frequency trading of those shares. Now, neither of these chains is just standing still, not at all. They are both in the middle of what you could call a strategic arms race, rolling out critical upgrades that are going to define their capabilities as we head into 2026. This timeline really shows you the strategic moves they're making. Back in 2022, Ethereum's merge was this massive, historic shift to proof of stake. Then, in 2024, the Dencun upgrade made its Layer 2s way more scalable. Now, all eyes are on 2025 for Solana's Firedancer client, an upgrade aimed squarely at fixing its historical stability issues. And all of this just sets the stage for 2026, where the race really does shift from pure speed to long-term resilience. So let's look at their roadmaps and see how this plays out. Ethereum is just doubling down on its modular vision. Upgrades like dank sharding are basically creating a massive data highway for its Layer 2s, trying to make them even cheaper and more efficient. Solana, meanwhile, is focused inward. It's using Firedancer to harden its monolithic core, aiming for maximum reliability. These are 2 completely different philosophies for achieving dominance. Alright, so with their foundation set and their upgrade paths clear, let's try to synthesize all of this into some concrete outcomes. What could this all mean for their price and their positioning by 2026? This really is the crucial question, isn't it? Based on everything we know about their tech, their ecosystems, and their roadmaps, what are the plausible scenarios that we could see play out? Just a quick note on how we're approaching this analysis. For Solana, our sources provide some very specific price targets for 2026. For Ethereum, which is really viewed more as a foundational asset, we're going to focus on its broader long-term investment thesis. For Ethereum, the investment case is really built on its status as a blue-chip asset. It's seen as the digital bond of Web3. It's secure, it's decentralized, and it's deflationary. With institutional money finally flowing in through things like ETFs and a stable staking yield providing returns, its story is really one of long-term stability and foundational value for the entire crypto ecosystem. Now, let's turn to Solana. In a bear case scenario, you'd have a tough macroeconomic environment, fierce competition from Ethereum's maturing layer 2s, and maybe some potential technical setbacks with its own upgrades. That combination could see its price fall to around $80. The base case projection, sort of the middle ground, sits at around $235. This scenario assumes that the Firedancer upgrade is a big success, that it significantly improves network reliability, and that its ecosystem continues its strong growth in areas like DeFi, gaming, and all those consumer apps. And then you have the bull case. Here, analysts see a potential path to $277. This would be driven by a flawless Firedancer rollout that completely changes the narrative around Solana's stability. If it can achieve that rock-solid uptime, that could unlock a whole new wave of institutional trust and capital. So, to sum it all up, here is our final scoreboard. Ethereum is the clear leader in security, decentralization, and maturity, which makes it a blue-chip stability play. Solana, on the other hand, is the undisputed leader in speed and cost, offering a profile of high growth potential. Ultimately, the choice between them is a choice between two fundamentally different visions for the future of the blockchain. We really hope this explainer gave you a clear framework for understanding this incredibly important competition. If you appreciate this kind of data-driven analysis, you might want to consider subscribing for more deep dives. And that brings us to our final question for you. If you had to hold only one of these until 2030, Ethereum or Solana, which one do you choose and why? Let us know your thoughts down in the comments below.